Perseverance pays off. Okay, so I was getting down on myself and getting frustrated. I didn't think this was going to work. What I did was I've been finagling with this derailleur and the cable and the tension and the barrel adjuster and all kinds of stuff quite a bit. And I moved the derailleur up and down. I moved the cage in and out. I was trying to alleviate any rub that I could, but essentially I still had the problem of I just wasn't getting far enough outboard on my cable, on my derailleur outshift to avoid rubbing at the highest cog. And if I had enough cable tension on, which was quite tight, then it didn't have enough, it wouldn't downshift. And it wouldn't downshift properly. And then I thought about the fact that this is the only derailleur that I have that's a top pull derailleur. And I thought, well, you know, the attachment point is this bolt here. But I don't know if you can see exactly, but the way it was originally designed to be routed was the cable is supposed to wrap around the outside and then out this way. Well, I decided to just try on a whim the alternate routing of wrapping it on the inside. And I'm not sure why. I'm not a physicist, but the fulcrum pivot is here and here, and it's a double spring thing. Again, I've never designed a derailleur, but whatever it is, I've had much greater success. So right now, I'll take you through it. Right now, I'm in my little, right? I'm sorry, my little big, my lowest gear possible, and I spin that, and I have absolutely no chain rub on the derailleur, so that's good, right? And I can still shift the rear. I mean, I can go all the way to my 8th gear without any chain rub on that. Again, not a gear I would run on the road, but it's nice to know. And that's even pretty minimal. But even on the, yeah. So I can get halfway through the cassette without having any chain rub, and I wouldn't really go any higher than my 5th gear on that 24-tooth cog. That's really just a climbing cog anyway. So that's great. Now I'm going to basically be at a point where I'm on my 5th gear right now. This is about where I would want to upshift. So I pull my upshift. It's pretty smooth. It's not fast, but it's smooth. And now I'm on my middle. Now let's see how far down I can go and if I have any rub there. So I'm going down the cassette back to low gears. So low gears work great on this. I've got great low gear, which is really good for me because unless it's a really long, steep climb, I can do a fair bit of climbing in my 36 tooth. 36-32, 36-36. I can do a lot of that, especially because the chain line isn't awful, and it's just that 1-to-1 ratio is a pretty good climbing gear for most gentle terrain, gentle to moderately steep. Again, steep climbs, long climbs, I'm going to be in the climbing gear. That's why I have it on the bike. But anyway, now let's see how far I can go on the upside, and this is where I have a little bit of problem. And I might adjust things. I think it's because I've changed the height of the cage here, and there's this little knob here. But watch what happens here. As I continue up. Oh, it's actually... Oh. I changed the tension, and now... Oh, I have just the tiniest bit of chain rub in the 3611. Which a gear I wouldn't use all that often. So that's not bad. Just a little bit of chain rub, and if I go now I'm in my 3613 tooth, no rub at all. And that's a gear that I would use. So this is looking pretty good so far. So let's back it down. Okay, so I'm in my 36, what am I at? Like my 3621 or whatever. I'm at a gear where I'm at about where on the road I would think, okay, now it's time to upshift. I'm getting faster. Now I would go, I do my upshift, that clicks into place. Now, if I want to continue to pick up speed, let's see how far I can upshift without any chain rub. One more. I'm in my top gear now. I'm in my 4811. And there's just a tiny incremental bit of rub. Just incremental. and now it's pretty much gone. One little eighth twist. There's still a tiny bit, but again, I don't use this gear that often. This is if I'm drilling it down a hill, basically, on this bike. And if I drop to my 4813, nothing at all. So this is smooth. And I can even run my 48 28. Not that I would. And then downshifting. So let's see. So that's phenomenal. I've pretty much just solved my problem. I can tweak it. I can tweak it a little bit if I want to, but I've pretty much solved the problem. But let's make sure now that I can downshift back down. So I'm at about a point where I would want to downshift. Pretty nice and easy, pretty smooth. I'm back on the middle, nice and easy. Now I'm going to go drop a gear, and this is about where I would want to downshift maybe if I'm just starting a steep climb. And boom, downshift is done. And I can go all the way through. Ha ha! This is amazing. I've got it. I've got it. Oh. Oh my God. I'm going to probably tweak it, but not too much, because sometimes when something works, it works. So I just had to change the routing, the alternate routing. It's not in any of the tech docs. Shimano will never tell you you're supposed to put it through that bolt. But for whatever reason, because it's, I don't know, the cable pull ratio and the closeness to the pulley and how it reacts with this other spring, I don't know. All I know is that gets me the full range that I need. So I stuck at it. I stuck at it for a little while, for over an hour of just simply loosening the derailleur, loosening the cable, moving it up, down, changing the angle, thinking cognitively, considering what's the issue, what's the problem. I was changing the barrel adjuster. I was taking out slack. I was adding slack, trying to figure out what the problem was, and then I basically didn't have a solution on the original cable routing. It wasn't working. It was either going to be too far this way with chain rub, and then I couldn't shift down, or it was going to be fine on the low gears, but I would have chain rub on the top gears. It was going to be one of those. But by trying an alternate strategy, it almost immediately was clear that was a path to success. And then I just had to dial it in a little bit and get the cable tension right and everything like that. So I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. I believe I've got a functioning touring bike now. Full on 10-speed. Tiny bit of chain rub on the biggest gear, but it's super minimal, and I can probably just change the barrel adjuster, get that little bit out of it, and I still think it'll downshift. But I'm going to call this a successful operation. Rear derailleur is good. Front derailleur is good. I'm just going to tighten all these things down, make sure they're in place nice and secure, and this took a little bit of time, so I'm going to do my bar tape and kind of polish it up on another. I'll do like a finishing video. I'll show you the finishing steps just to finish the bike, and wow. So anyway, this was it went from being slightly not depressing, but it had me already starting to think of my alternative options. I was thinking about, okay, plan A didn't work. I did all of this work to build this up this way, and it might not be successful. So what can I do now? And I like having those ideas. I like thinking about other things I can do. And who knows, I still may do that eventually with this bike. But at least it looks as if, and I haven't had it on the road, and everything behaves differently on the road. So until I do bar tape and I get it on the road, I won't call it done for sure. But for now, it looks like success is really, really tangible now. Really, really within reach. I just have to make sure that I keep everything dialed the way it is and just tweak it a tiny bit and get it on the road and see how it feels. So, Giant ATX 770 touring bike. Gearing looks thumbs up. Looks like we're good. It's amazing. I'm psyched. That's all I can say. You guys have a good night.